What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
UFC from Minneapolis just happened this past Saturday. Francis Ngannou versus Junior Dos Santos, heavyweight #1 contender fight. Then we had Joseph Benavidez versus Jussier Formiga for the potential flyweight contender fight, even though Cejudo's out for a year. But I think they're just going to put they've cut a bunch of people. They could just take like a year off, wait for Cejudo to heal up, have Cejudo versus Joseph Benavidez for the title fight next year. I don't know. They said a year, so maybe like the International Fight Week next year. And then depending on who wins, see what they do with the division. But it gives UFC time where I don't think we're going to see a lot of flyweight fights necessarily. I could be wrong, but that's what it seems like. That's what's going to happen. Kind of best case scenario that Cejudo's out for so long. But Ngannou versus Junior Dos Santos, I thought Ngannou was going to win. He did win first round, early in the first round. Opened with leg kicks, strong leg kicks. Dos Santos put him down with a leg kick, but wasn't really able to do much. I mean, it was Ngannou with the leg kicks, and then he hit him a couple times. And Junior, I literally just finished watching it, and he turns away. And I know he's done this in other fights, where it's just like he disengage, he just kind of turns away to run away. But as he turned away, like Ngannou was just on him, clocked him while he wasn't looking. Legal shot for sure. I mean, you fucking turn your back to Francis Ngannou and see how that works in a street fight. But anyway, Ngannou destroyed him. I would love to see him against DC or Stipe. I think that would be an interesting fight. I think since he lost to Stipe, he looked, he got shut down. They figured him out. But I think he's grown as a fighter. I think that fight would be different. I mean, Stipe wasn't able to finish him, but he also, and he ate his shots too. I would not mind seeing Francis Ngannou versus DC, although I doubt that is like one fight I would love to see. But I doubt DC would take it only because he'd be afraid to get hit by Ngannou, and I don't think he wants to take any. That would probably be his last fight defending the heavyweight belt. Well, he doesn't have. Does he have the? Yeah, he does. Defending the heavyweight belt against Francis Ngannou, if he beats Stipe, that is. I think Stipe might win the rematch against him. I don't know, but I would love to see a rematch Ngannou versus Stipe also. And then maybe Derek Lewis gets his shit together, gets healed up, and then they do a proper rematch for the belt or something. I don't know. The heavyweight division's fun. Maia looked great. Referee had one of the worst stand-ups I've ever seen. Maia had like a more dominant position, I would say, than most of the time Nurmagomedov has against opponents, although, he's able to do a little bit more damage with how he holds people. But Maia had him, pressed up against the fence, basically a mount. He's sitting on his legs, and he's working. They're constantly working. It's not like some of these fights like Holly Holm, where they just, hold the person on the fence and literally do nothing. Just kind of hold them on the fence, not really work any knees, not really work any body shots, but Maia was constantly working, constantly trying to get a better position. The other dude was constantly trying to get up, but towards the end, I think it was the end of the second round, probably 30 seconds, 40 seconds left, the ref stands him up. Horrible ref. It's probably a local ref, but just a horrible stand-up. Luckily, Maia didn't get caught with anything before the end of the round, but just a shitty stand-up from the ref. Roberts looked fun, even though he lost to Pichel. Pichel came on strong late. The first two fights in the main card, Drew Dober and Alonzo Menifee, were early, dominant wins. Would not be surprised if Paul Craig gets cut after this fight. He just looked, aside from a late finish in a fight that he was being dominated in, he really has been unimpressive, which is disappointing. When he came in strong, and it just. Although he lost to the current champion, so I don't know. I don't know where he's at, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut. But yeah, so that's it for the card. I didn't watch the early prelims, but it was a fun card. I do want to watch the early prelims because I heard some of those fights were fun. There were some knockouts, finishes, so and some fighters that I recognize. So I might go back. But coming up next Saturday is International Fight Week from Las Vegas. Headline: John Jones versus Thiago Santos for the light heavyweight belt. Amanda Nunes is defending her bantamweight belt against Holly Holm. For all day, I got John Jones against Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos has a chance. It's almost like it's almost as if we're getting to see Rumble versus John Jones in some ways. I think Rumble probably still a bigger fighter than Thiago Santos, but kind of a similar, like, heavy striker, Muay Thai kind of attack. So, kind of a replacement in some ways since Rumble is retired. Amanda Nunes, I got all day as well. Holly Holm is just very unimpressive. Not unimpressive, but just she fails to pull the trigger and plays too safe, and just ends up, when she wins, it's usually decision, unless, like, sometimes she gets head kick knockouts. I don't think she's going to do that against Amanda Nunes. And Nunes just knocked out one of the most dominant female fighters in the history of MMA, Chris Cyborg. One of the scariest women in MMA. Like, just thinking of somebody that could have done it was impossible not that long ago. And Amanda Nunes did it, and did it in fashion. First round, I think, knockout. So I think Amanda Nunes just hit that next gear, and I would imagine she'll finish the fight. Unless she gets caught with something. I mean, Holly Holm could, potentially do something, but I think Nunes is just more well-rounded and just hungrier and better. We got Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren. I got Askren. I don't think Masvidal is going to dump Askren on his head necessarily, which was what really rocked him in that fight against Lawler, even though he still won. He was able to recover. So I think Askren's going to win it. Jan Blachowicz versus Luke Rockhold in light heavyweight. I think Blachowicz wins it. I'm not a fan of Luke Rockhold. He's pretty unimpressive in most of his fights. He gets knocked out with a similar punch in a lot of his fights. He has been working with a new striking coach, so maybe we'll see if his defense for that changes finally after being literally knocked out. Well, he won the fight against Branch, but I think Branch still hit him with that overhand right. The same thing that Bisping beat him with, and then Yoel beat him with it, and then David Branch just was unable to finish a fight that he should have been able to finish. He had an opportunity, and he didn't do it. And then I think somebody else knocked out Rockhold before going up to. I don't think he's like so many. He's like the most over. People are so hyped on Rockhold for some reason, and he hasn't looked good in fucking forever. Even when he won the belt or defended it against Chris Weidman, like, that was a very unimpressive performance from both of those guys. And then Diego Sanchez starting off the main card against Michael Chiesa. My heart wants Diego Sanchez to win, just because he's been crazy his whole career. He just left the Jackson Wink, which, maybe he's not right in his head, and sometimes when he's not right in his head, he doesn't perform well. But my brain is taking Chiesa. I mean, just like newer generation. But it's going to be a great fight overall. I'm looking forward to all of the fights from the prelims, so I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to take most of the day off and watching the full card. Looking forward to it. That's it for this episode. New episodes daily. Subscribe on IGTV and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork, original paintings, over 800 available at inspireddisorder.com. Save 10% when you use coupon code INSPIRED. At Ray Taylor for me on all social media. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!